What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Kicking It with Crowder, episode 74 overall, guys. Hey, we're going to play a little bit of music real quick, let some people join the conversation, and we'll get started. Let's go. Hope y'all having a good night so far, man. We got a lot of stuff to get into tonight, guys, so I'm excited to bring this to you tonight. Hope you enjoyed our interview last week with ESPN's Cole Cubelic. If you haven't checked it out, it's on our Kicking It with Crowder page, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff, guys. So make sure y'all check that out. And got a nice little quick episode for you tonight. Latest on Tiger Woods situation, the NBA All-Star Game. What's up, Zach? Latest on the NBA All-Star Game, NBA starters, snubs, all that good stuff. So I'm excited to bring you this show tonight, man. Let's go. You doing good, Zach? Man, that Tiger stuff yesterday was crazy. Played a little golf today too, Zach. You can probably get me right now, man, my friend. Got a new putter. And boy, them greens are fast today. Yeah, man, it's terrible what happened, man. I mean, looking at the photos and everything, I thought, kind of thought the worst at first, but I'm glad he made it out alive and his kids, still get to have their dad. I mean, that's the number one thing. I'm not really worried about the comeback right now. I'm just worried about him getting healthy, I guess. But, man, that was crazy. All right. So we got a couple on the live right now, guys. We'll go ahead and get started here in just a second. And don't forget, guys, comment down below. Like down below. You want to talk about anything in particular? Comment it down below, okay, guys? All right, so Kicking It with Crowder begins in 3, 2, 1. And welcome, everybody, to Kicking It with Crowder, episode 23 of Season 2, 74 overall. So thank you guys so much, whoever has been along for the ride. We appreciate all the support. Thank you for joining me tonight, Zach. Thank you, everyone, for joining the live. If you join in after the conversation, guys, don't forget it'll be on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. So the sports world got a major scare yesterday when golfer Tiger Woods was involved in a single car crash outside of LA. Kind of a steep hill, steep turn, and it doesn't look that he was impaired or anything like that, but he did sustain some major injuries, including 2 broken legs. One leg had to have a rod put in and connected to his tibia, and then his ankle was pretty much shattered, and they were able to go in there and kind of put that back together in a sense for his leg. They did save his leg right now, so he's got some serious injuries to come back from. It's looking anywhere from 12 months to 16 months of recovery. He's definitely not going to be playing golf anytime soon right now. Will, of course, be out of the Masters, which he won in 2019. So just tough news. He's 45, about to be 46 years old. 15-time major winner. Tiger Woods is the reason why so many of us love golf. So many of the golfers right now that are playing on the PGA Tour, Tiger Woods is their hero. Tiger Woods is the reason why they go out there and compete every single day. He's someone they look up to. He's now become, many of them, their friend. So, a tough news on the PGA Tour yesterday. He underwent major surgery and is lucky to be alive at this point. Lucky that, his kids are able to hug him and him still be around. Because, if you saw the pictures were very, very serious. The car was completely crushed on the front end side. Airbags deployed. Fell down a very, very deep ravine. And, could have came out very, very bad. It's honestly crazy because of the Kobe. Yeah, me too, Michael. Tiger's my favorite golfer. Kobe Bryant was my favorite basketball player, and it's kind of eerily similar to what happened to Kobe Bryant last year. Of course, Kobe was in a plane crash. Tiger in a car accident, but both outside of LA, both about a year ago. So, it's just unfortunate that this has happened. He's not going to be playing any golf right now, but just thoughts and prayers go out, from the Kicking It with Crowder podcast. Thoughts and prayers go out to Tiger Woods' family, the PGA Tour, and hopefully, if there's anyone built to do this, Tiger Woods can come back. He's already come back. He's had 5 major surgeries. Of course, had the kind of scandal in 2009, Thanksgiving weekend, with his wife and everything. He's gotten past that. Won the Masters in 2019, and he just seems happier than he's ever been. And thoughts and prayers go out to Tiger Woods. And we'll talk a little bit more about Tiger later on in the show. The NBA announced, guys, their NBA All-Star rosters, both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference starters and reserves. So we'll give you the latest with that. And then, of course, every time you got to talk about an All-Star game, you got to talk about the snubs. And we'll get into the biggest snubs in each conference. There's one guy who's averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He didn't even make the All-Star team. So I'll give you that name later on in the show. But if you have a snub, you have to replace him with somebody. So everybody who earned a spot on this All-Star roster is deserving of it, but I guess some are more deserving than some of the guys who are on the rosters, guys. So NBA also announced the second half today. They'll end sometime in May, and then they'll start the playoffs. So the playoffs will be extended, a little bit longer than they normally are. Last year they finished up, I think, in October. It won't go that long, but NBA guys announce the schedule. We'll give you some of the biggest games to look out for. So, guys, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share down below. And you can also find me on anywhere you get your podcasts, guys. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio app, Twitter. On Twitter, Kicking It with Crow. Also on YouTube, guys, please subscribe today if you haven't already. All you have to have is a Google account, and you can just type in Kicking It with Crowder. Boom, subscribe right then. We're almost at 50 subscribers on YouTube. We're almost at 1,000 likes and subscribers on Facebook, guys. So it's been a great journey. I love bringing you guys this show every week, and I couldn't do this without you guys. So thank y'all so much. But hey, let's go ahead and get in to the rest of the show. I already told you guys, kind of a quiet week right here on the sports front. Spring training right now is kind of shifted and is going to be, coming up in the next week or so. Pitchers and catchers reported pitchers and catchers reported this past week. So what's up, Glenn? How you doing, man? Of course, we're diving into the Tiger news, NBA Eastern and Western Conference All-Stars. And then in the NFL, guys, Ben Roethlisberger wants to come back for his 18th season. Of course, he was in that 2004 draft with Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers, who are both now retired. Eli spent 16 years in the NFL, Phillip Rivers 17. Ben Roethlisberger's looking to get in with his 18th year, but this Pittsburgh team has a lot of issues. One being salary cap, another being the offensive line, the run game. That Juju Smith-Schuster, their TikTok star, is a free agent this season, and then Bud Dupree's a free agent, and their offensive line's messed up, and Pouncey retired, and Ben Roethlisberger has a $42 million cap hit next year, which basically the Steelers said they want Ben Roethlisberger back with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it's going to have to be some kind of revised contract, whether that's they're talking about giving him an extension, possibly a 4-year extension that basically guarantees his money for this next coming season, and then after that they can cut him or void the contract after that, and then they save a lot of money on the cap, and then they could also lower his salary to the veterans minimum next year, which would save them roughly $20 million in cap space. So Ben Roethlisberger, that's something to look out for, and as well as the other quarterbacks shuffling that could be happening around the league. We've already seen Jared Goff go to the Lions. We've already seen Stafford go to the Rams, and then now Deshaun Watson looks like he's on his way out of Houston. 3 teams to watch out for: the Carolina Panthers, who I hope they do not get Deshaun Watson. I do not want to face that guy twice a year. I really do believe Deshaun Watson is going to win a Super Bowl at some point. He's just that talented of a quarterback. I loved him coming out of Clemson. Loved him in high school. I love him in the NFL. The guy's an ultimate competitor. Went out there and had his best year this year on a 4-12 Houston Texans team. So I do not want him to go to Carolina. Much rather see him go to Miami, who is, has Tua and some other draft capital they could possibly trade. And then the New York Jets. That's a team for me to watch out for. Picking at number 2 overall. Any quarterback, any player you pick at number 2 is not going to be near what you can get for Deshaun Watson. So a trade possibly with Sam Darnold, maybe a couple first-round picks and maybe a defensive starter. Maybe that'll be enough to get it done. But, I mean, you got 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams last year. So if you give up 1 first-rounder this year, 1 first-rounder next year, you're basically trading Seattle's picks for Deshaun Watson. Then you can throw in Sam Darnold and some other players and make it work. So, yes, I would love Deshaun Watson, Glenn, to go to Miami. I think that's a team. Brian Flores, the roster that's built around them. Of course, they need a receiver. They probably need to draft a receiver. They also probably need to address the offensive line a little bit. They had a young offensive line last year, but this defense is very, very good. We saw what can happen if you have a good quarterback and a great defense. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers just won the Super Bowl, guys. So interesting offseason. It's all about to start kicking up. It's all about to start. And I agree that Deshaun Watson probably doesn't want to go to the Jets, but I think he just wants to get out of the Texans. So I think he would accept a trade to New York. And Sam Darnold, you're right, he hasn't played that great, but look at what's been around him in a sense. The guy has no offensive line, bottom 5 offensive line, bottom 5 skill position players, no running back, no wide receiver, doesn't have a great tight end. The defense has been atrocious, hasn't played for a great coach in Adam Gase. There's been a lot of going on, so I can't just sit here and blame it all on Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold he has put out some tape. He's an athletic guy. He has a lot of promise, but, at the end of the day, he hasn't performed as well as many thought he would come in the league. He's been compared to a Jameis Winston coming out of college, and that's kind of what he's played like so far, up and down, up and down. So, has shown flashes, let's say, but, you package a deal around the first-round picks, and then, hey, the Texans get to see, hey, do we move on? Do we get Sam Darnold, or do we draft a guy here at the number 2 pick, number 3 pick, whatever pick you get? So we'll see what happens. Also, Miami could focus the trade around possibly, one of these great defensive players they have. They have a lot of defensive players: Christian Wilkins, Van Noy, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones. They have some guys that they could possibly move for Deshaun Watson in Houston, and then they could center around a couple draft picks and Tua. That's what's going to happen. So I probably put the timetable, Glenn, in the next 2 months, close to the NFL draft. I really feel like that's kind of when it's going to happen, Glenn. So it could be a story for the next 6 to 8 weeks that we talk about every single week on this show. And Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry, but if you're able to get a Deshaun Watson and you think that he can put you over the top, you have to do it. And I think he's worth 3 first-round picks, maybe a quarterback swap, maybe another defensive player. I don't know. He's probably the second to third best quarterback in the entire league right now, behind Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes. He's the third best player, and he's only 25 years old. He's already got the contract. I've heard Carolina, Christian McCaffrey, and I've heard that, Christian McCaffrey could be included with some other first-round picks, Teddy Bridgewater, maybe, Brian Burns, a defensive guy. I just don't know how you turn that down if you're Houston. So we'll see what happens on the Deshaun Watson front. And that's the latest news out of the NFL. And then wanted to go back and talk a little bit about the Tiger situation, Glenn. I know you just joined. We talked about it a little bit later, earlier in the show. Just unbelievable news yesterday. It's almost like the news you got when Kobe Bryant died. You just remember what you were doing, where you were at the time of the news you got. And this was just tough. Hearing this, you see the pictures, you automatically think the worst. Then you start hearing broken legs, and you don't know how true it is. And then it comes out he has a shattered ankle, and he goes into surgery yesterday. At this point, I'm just praying for Tiger Woods to be able to walk again, to be able to play with his kids out in the front yard. Him and his son Charlie playing in that tournament 2 months ago was awesome to watch. He has a lot of the same mannerisms, plays really good for a 12-year-old now. And, I think Tiger was kind of transitioning that part of his life anyways. Maybe a little bit more family time, a little bit more time with his kids, maybe a little bit less golf here and there. Had the back surgery, his 5th procedure just in December. So he was trying to get back for the Masters. Had the interview on Sunday with Jim Nantz. Yes, you're right, Glenn. He's very, very fortunate to be alive. And he's lucky he's wearing a seatbelt. Very lucky he's wearing a seatbelt, because if he wasn't, he probably would have been thrown out of that vehicle in the rollover. But at this point, I'm not really worried about Tiger Woods' golf career. I'm more worried about Tiger Woods, the person, what he's able to do down the road, just walk and just live a normal life. He's already dealt with many, many injuries, broken leg. He's already, he broke his leg and tore his ACL and had dealt with some Achilles injuries and 5 back surgeries, and the stuff he dealt with in 2009 with his wife, and all the scandal he's had. It's unbelievable, the ups and downs and twists and turns that his career has had. Of course, we all remember him in 1997 at the Masters, destroying the field, and that was his coming out party, and he has just been on the scene ever since. Took Nike Golf and sponsorships and money, and he took the PGA Tour to the next level. The rivalry with him and Phil Mickelson was great to watch, and he's one of my favorite athletes of all time. By far my favorite golfer of all time. I love the golf is just better when Tiger Woods is in contention on Sunday. He just is. He's won 5 Masters, 15-time major winner. May not pass Jack Nicklaus, but I promise you, if you had to bet on if Tiger Woods was going to win another major or not right now, if you had to bet me right now, I'd probably say the guy is going to win one more. He's going to come back, and he's going to be a story. They're going to make movies about this, and a lot of people don't remember. Walter Hogan was actually in a bus. He got hit by a bus in 1959. I think right after, maybe 1949, kind of right in the middle of his career, was out for 6 months, very serious injury, broke his collarbone, broke his hip, broke a bunch of stuff. He was able to come back and win a couple majors after that, and people kind of forgot about the accident. So hopefully that's the Tiger Woods we can all hopefully we can see Tiger Woods win another major championship, or just be able to play golf, period. But at this point, Tiger Woods is just happy to be alive. Thoughts and prayers again go out to his family, go out to him, and hopefully a speedy recovery, looking like anywhere from 10 months to 16 months kind of recovery time. So maybe he's playing golf in 2022. But at this point, we just want to see Tiger Woods playing in the yard with his kid, playing golf, and just walking again. Because at this point, today, the next day is never promised, guys. So never take anything for granted. Tiger Woods, just unbelievable news coming out of Los Angeles yesterday. All right, guys, so we'll get into the NBA rosters real quick before we get out of here. And the NBA rosters, first off, NBA wasn't supposed to have an All-Star game this year, and a lot of people are kind of skeptical about it right now. And it's in Atlanta, and the mayor comes out of Atlanta. They don't even want people to come to Atlanta. Do not come to Atlanta for our All-Star game. We, don't even come. So that's the mayor coming out. A lot of the players have said, what are we doing? What are we doing? Do we really want to play? Do we really want to do this? LeBron James has come out and said something. Stephen Curry, Paul George. There's a lot of players that have come out and said something. But I want to get into the starters real quick on each side. I want to talk about the starting lineup for the West, and then the starting lineup for the East. So the starting lineup in the West, guys, of course, the leading vote getter again this year, LeBron James, now a 17-time All-Star, 4-time Kia NBA MVP, 3-time All-Star Game MVP. Of course, won 4 championships and has won 4 NBA Finals MVPs, okay? Stephen Curry, guys, is now going to be the lead point guard in the game, led by Luka Doncic, who's going to play, I guess, the 2. Kawhi Leonard will be at the 3. LeBron James will be at the 4. And then Nikola Jokic, who's averaging 27, 10, and 8. Like, are you kidding me? For a center, guy is amazing out there, can pass the ball, get the ball around, putting the ball in the hoop in every single game. Kawhi Leonard averaging 27, Luka Doncic 29, Stephen Curry 30. I mean, LeBron James, that's a nasty lineup for the West right there. Going to be hard for the East to stick with this team, but we'll go with the East. Kevin Durant, guys, the leading vote getter out of the Eastern Conference. He is in his first year with the second year technically with the Brooklyn Nets, but of course sat out last year. He's averaging 29, 7, and 5. Then you have the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is averaging 28, 11, and 6. Bradley Beal just coming off just an amazing season right now, leading the league in scoring, 32.7 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 4.9 assists every game. And then Joel Embiid, one of my dark horses for the MVP right now, averaging 29, 11, and 3 for the first place Philadelphia 76ers. And then you have Kyrie Irving averaging 27, 5, and 4 right now. Missed some games early on, but this Brooklyn Nets team, guys, has 3 All-Stars with James Harden, guys, 25, 11, and 7, leading the league right now in assists. So James Harden, I'm sorry, he is looking like a machine right now for the Brooklyn Nets. So we'll go with the rest of the East real quick, guys. And coming in, making his first All-Star game appearance, Jaylen Brown, averaging 25, 5, and 4 for the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics right now sit at 15 and 16. So if they do not get above 500 before the All-Star game, they will be the first pair of teammates, Jaylen Brown, and then, of course, Jason Tatum, who is making his second All-Star appearance. What's up, Hector? Thanks for watching, man. Jason Tatum averaging 26, 7, and 4 for the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics right now sit at 15 and 16. If they do not get above 500, they'll be the first team with multiple All-Star starters with a under 500 record at the All-Star break. So, big news right there. I mean, got to look at Brad Stevens' job security. Danny Ainge kind of built this roster for him. Kemba Walker's signing hasn't really worked out. What does Boston do? Do they do anything at the trade deadline? Do they try to keep it together? We'll see. This is a team who swept 76ers last year. 76ers look like a different ball club right now. Joining Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum on the East is also, like I said, James Harden. And then Zach LaVine making his first All-Star appearance, averaging 28, 5, and 5 for the Chicago Bulls. Congratulations to Zach LaVine. Also, congratulations to Julius Randle making his first All-Star appearance with the New York Knicks. 23, 5, and 10. He's having a great year, a great career resurgence. Only 26 years old. Been in the league now 7 years or so, but Julius Randle putting up really good numbers for the New York Knicks. And then you have the last 2 names out of the East. You have Ben Simmons averaging 15, 7, and 8 right now. He's a 3-time All-Star. Last year made the 3rd-team All-NBA. And he's a great player. Doesn't really have a jump shot, but can do so much out there. Play defense, distribute the ball around, rebound, all that. And then Nikola Vucevic, he is a 2-time All-Star, averaging a career-high 24 points this year with 11 rebounds and 3 assists per game. And then we'll get in the snubs here in just a little bit because there's always, oh, man, you left this guy off the roster or this guy didn't make it. But this year, that is your Eastern Conference team with the starters and the reserves. And then in the Western Conference, guys, thanks, Hector. I appreciate that, man. And then, check out the Twitter, man. I keep a lot of good stuff coming on there as well. And then, and back to the Western Conference reserves, Anthony Davis, guys, was selected for his 8th All-Star team. Will miss the All-Star game, of course, dealing with an Achilles injury. So Devin Booker, who was the number 1 snub, everyone asked who was the biggest snub. Devin Booker came to mind for a lot of people. I think Devin Booker should have been on the All-Star game originally. He will take Anthony Davis' spot. So Anthony Davis will not play in the All-Star dealing with that Achilles injury, but Devin Booker now, for the second straight year, now his second All-Star appearance, Devin Booker will be an All-Star All-Star reserve in the All-Star game. Paul George, guys, makes his seventh All-Star team. Of course, played with the Pacers early in his career, Oklahoma City. Now he makes his seventh All-Star game appearance with the Los Angeles Clippers, averaging 25, 5, and 6 right now. Two-time All-Star Rudy Gobert, 2020 All-NBA third team. He's averaging 14 and basically almost 14 rebounds for the first place Utah Jazz right now. And then Damian Lillard, a guy who could have been an All-Star starter, comes in as a reserve, six-time All-Star, 2020 All-NBA second team. He's averaging 29, 8, and 4. And then never asked for any help, stays loyal to the Blazers. You got to love Damian Lillard. Donovan Mitchell now, guys, is now a two-time All-Star, just putting up crazy numbers, 25, 5, and 5 for the Utah Jazz. An athletic freak. They call him Spider Mitchell for a reason. He's an amazing player. Then you have Chris Paul, 11-time All-Star, comes over from the Thunder last year to the Suns, and they're sitting very, very nice in the Western Conference right now. They could have they definitely had two All-Star players caliber with Devin Booker and Chris Paul. And then my favorite selection of all the All-Star guys, of all the All-Star reserves guys, Zion Williamson, a guy I've been very high on, coming out of Duke, was the number one pick last year. He's averaging 25, 7, and 3 for the New Orleans Pelicans. And shout out to Zion Williamson. He's not a bust, ladies and gentlemen. This guy gets it done night in, night out. He's so explosive. Such a fun guy to watch in only his second year in the NBA, guys. So shout out to Zion Williamson. I love watching him play. Can you imagine this guy a defensive end or tight end? Me and my buddy were talking about that the other day. Zion Williamson would just be an absolute freak out there on the football field. I would love to have him getting after the quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons could use a defensive end like Zion Williamson. He is just a freak of an athlete. The 2020 All-Rookie first-team member. Would have won Rookie of the Year last year if he played the entire season. We know John Morant won that. But Zion Williamson now makes his All-Star, his first All-Star appearance in his second year in the NBA, guys. So, before we get out of here, guys, I got to talk a little bit about the snubs. Every year, there are players who do not make the All-Star game. And every year, there's people who are mad every year. Oh, this guy should have made it. This guy should have made it. So I want to talk a little bit about the Eastern Conference real quick. Western Conference had some guys. Devin Booker, that was a guy who a lot of people were very upset about not making it. LeBron James publicly came out and said something. Draymond Green came out and said something. Devin Booker averaging 24 points per game, an assassin out there. Really reminds me a lot of Kobe Bryant. Loved him at Kentucky in 2015 when they went undefeated. Love Devin Booker. I love me some Devin Booker. But the Eastern Conference, man, this was really tough in the Eastern Conference Finals. And every player who's averaging 25, 10, and 5 made the All-Star team except for one guy. And that is Domantas Sabonis from the Indiana Pacers. Of course, his dad played for the Blazers for all those years. Sabonis was an All-Star last year, trying to make his second All-Star appearance. Really tough. Who do you take off? Do you take off Ben Simmons? Do you take off Vujacic? Do you take out Julius Randle? All three very deserving players. So I get it. I feel like if they add any other players in the Eastern Conference to this team, if anyone drops out or gets hurt, I feel like Sabonis will be the first one that they pick up the phone and call and invite him to the All-Star game. Another player who made the All-Star game last year but not this year, Bam Adebayo, having another fantastic season for the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat this year are just not as good as they were last year. They've missed Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, of course, was in the All-Star game last year. He's not in it again. And so, you have players going in, you have players coming out. Trae Young, another guy who has played pretty well this year for the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks have not been very good, so Trae Young kind of gets disrespected in a sense, doesn't make the All-Star team. He's putting up great numbers again. Not as good as he did last year, but he's putting up good numbers. And then Tobias Harris, this 76ers team wouldn't be where they are at without Tobias Harris. So those are just a couple of names that kind of were left off of the list. And every year, there's going to be players, oh man, let's extend it to 13 or 14 or 15. If you do that, there'll still be players. Mike Conley was a name that was left off in the Western Conference. Brandon Ingram didn't make it. So there's a lot of good players who didn't make the All-Star team. By far the toughest sports league to make a All-Star game in because of the 12 roster spots on each side. So 24 players, that's it. 24 players make an All-Star team. So it's by far the hardest thing to do in all of sports is to make an All-Star team in the NBA. And the NBA guys also announced they will play 72 games. They announced it today. They will play 72 games the rest of the way. The Grizzlies and the Spurs will play 40 games each. They were both affected with COVID earlier on in the season, so both of them will play 40 games. And LA Clippers will play the Lakers again, so we'll get to see that matchup. And then, what's up, Tammy? And then the Lakers will also play the Nets on April 10th. And then we have the Golden State Warriors playing the Celtics on April 17th. The Lakers also will play the Mavericks on the 24th. Nets go to Milwaukee and play the Bucks on May 2nd. So a lot of games going on. The Utah Jazz will play LA Lakers on April 17th and the 19th. So they'll play another back-to-back series as well. I'm glad we get to see that matchup. And I'm really excited to see the Western Conference, man. You have some really good teams at the top. You have the Utah Jazz, the Lakers, and the Clippers. That's going to be some really good matchups down the road to watch out for. But, guys, I really appreciate you tuning in tonight and listening to our show. As always, you can find me on Apple. I'm on Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, YouTube, Twitter. As Hector said earlier, I'm on Twitter. Got a good little Twitter feed going out on there every day. So check out that, guys. I make my picks on there. I'll still be making some NBA picks. So next week's show, I will have some NBA picks or college picks for you guys. The March Madness is right around the corner. Baylor and Gonzaga are head over heels, way better than any other team this year. Then of course you have Michigan, Ohio State, some other teams vying. But if you're gonna take a bet right now, Gonzaga or Baylor, take one of those two over the field, because I'm telling you, those teams are very, very well coached, and they'll make a lot of noise come March Madness. So, guys, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to comment down below. Like my page on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. All that jazz, guys. So, hey, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. Until next week, guys, I'm out. Let's go.